card gamers need a place to play. And as we are slowly transitioning back to safely being able to do that, I wanted to talk a little bit about what makes for a good environment to play in. Normally, that takes place at your friendly local gaming store for most gamers. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about what makes a good local gaming store. And if you've ever had a bad experience at a local gaming store, then you know kind of what you're looking for in a good one. And similarly, if you've ever had a good experience, if you love your local gaming store, as I would say probably most gamers do love their local gaming store, otherwise they would be at a different one, then you know a lot of the reasons why you love it so much. And so I wanted to take a moment to shout out my local gaming store where me and my friends play at is just so fantastic. It's Meeple Madness in Brazelton, Georgia. It's a fantastic shop. We play all sorts of games there. And there's a lot of reasons why I think it's so great. I've had some other experiences at other gaming stores that have been not so great. And so I thought I would outline in this episode what are and I've got a top 5 here, top 5 reasons that make a local gaming store a good LGS, if you will. And so I'll go ahead and jump into my list here. Well, I tell you what, let me tell you one of my bad experiences that led me to look for another store and helped me find Meeple Madness, which I love as a gaming store. So previously, there was a bunch of other gaming stores that me and my friends played at, and man, over the years, I've probably played at at least maybe 10 different gaming stores, or at least I should say I've shopped at and played at least 10 different places. I think that's safe to say. One time, I'll never forget, there was one store that I went to for quite a while and played and have some good memories there. But one night I showed up, me and my friend showed up for a Friday Night Magic. And we're sitting around waiting for Friday Night Magic. And, we're there for about an hour. We're kind of playing some games, just hanging out. And not really too many other people showed up. Matter of fact, I think it was just us and like one other guy. And we're like, man, I guess it didn't fire off this week. Like, whatever. I don't know. Maybe some people are out of town. We didn't really know what was going on. So we were about to leave, and then we realized, wait a minute, we paid the entry fee. So maybe we need to go back and get the money back because we didn't actually play. So we go back to the desk, the front desk, and we said, hey, we were here for Friday Night Magic. We paid the $5, but then nobody showed up. That we didn't end up playing. So is there any way we could get our $5 back? And just so happened to be the shop owner behind the counter. And he was kind of gave us a weird look. And he said, yeah, sure. Let me check on that real quick. So he kind of like steps back from the counter and calls somebody on his cell phone. And he's talking to the person on the other end, and he's like, yeah, hey, I got these couple of guys here who said they came and paid for Friday Night Magic. I'm just checking with you to make sure. Like, he was checking to make sure that we actually did that and that we weren't trying to like bilk him out of $5. Like, in front of us, in front of our faces, he was checking on that. I'm like, okay, I understand, I guess, from the business standpoint, he has to, whatever, okay. And so he's like talking on the phone to this guy. He's like, yeah, it's a guy in a red hat and a guy in a green shirt, which was a little bit off-putting to me. Look, I don't expect the guy to know everybody's names, but I have done business with this guy 100 million times. And if nothing, look, I don't expect him to know my name. All right. But at least know that I'm there all the time. And at the time that me and my friend were doing this, we were there like every week for Magic events. So I know this guy at least should have seen me and known that I'm like a regular. I'm not just going to try to get $5 from him. I mean, how foolish can you be? Anyway, so he hangs up the phone. He comes back and he says, well, here's the deal. I don't know if I can really give you the $5 back. Is it okay if I give you a booster pack instead? And me and my friend are like, man, I don't know, Is it retail for a booster pack's $4? And we paid 5. And he says, well, look, I'll give you 2 booster packs. That way you're getting a little bit of a deal. And me and my friend are like, man, we don't love it, but okay, whatever, sure. And then so he gives us the booster packs, and then we leave. So two for each of us, I should say. So a total of 4. And then we leave. And after I had some time to reflect on it, and I talked to my friend about what happened. I told him, I said, man, I'm never going there again. I'm never going there again, because the guy had absolutely zero appreciation. He acted like we were putting him in a tough spot to ask for our money back for an event that didn't happen. Like we were bothering him to do that. And it was just a bad experience. And I thought, I'm never coming back to play here again. I'll find another place to play. And luckily, for years now, we've been playing at this place, Meeple Madness, which is just great. And it got me thinking, what are the things that sets it apart as such a great place to play? So when I come back from the break, I'm going to tell you the top 5 reasons why, what makes good local gaming stores good and a fun place to play. All right. I am going to give you guys my top 5 reasons what makes a good local gaming store. And number 5 is knowledgeable workers who don't just know the games and the products. I think that's important. If they know the games and the products, not only can they make recommendations to people, but they can also help if people need help, like in the course of events. So if you're playing a card game there and you need a ruling or you need help with something, it's super beneficial to have somebody there. Now, whether that means that it's a judge for that game that they have on hand, or just the workers in the shop knowing the game, is even better, because then they can give some input on that. But I would also say that's important with keeping customers informed in this age of social media. If I call a store, or if I text a store or whatever and say, hey, are you guys still having this, are y'all playing this game tonight at 7 o'clock or whatever? Is that still happening? I want to be able to hear from the person, yeah, definitely. We're going to start at 7, be here at 6:30 or whatever. You don't want to hear from the person, oh, well, Johnny normally does those events, and Johnny will be in at 6 o'clock tonight. So what am I supposed to do there? I call back at 6? Like I have to check back up? Like you can't know whoever I'm talking to enough to tell me the answer to the question? Knowledgeable workers makes a big difference in a good local gaming store. Number 4, honestly, I thought about making this number 1 because it's so important to me, and I know it's important to a lot of people. Clean family environment. And now when I say that word clean, I mean that kind of in 2 different ways. One is physically clean. The store is, it's just clean. You can tell, you can sit down at the table and there's just not a lot of junk sitting around. It's not greasy, and there's not like a bad smell when you walk in the room. Now I know that the shop owners only have so much that they can control in terms of how the shop smells and everything. But you could tell a big difference, and y'all listen to this, know that what I'm saying is true here. When you walk into a dirty, smelly, nasty shop compared to when you walk into a nice, clean shop, you can tell the difference. But I also, when I say clean, I mean a clean environment. I have played at places before where you have, 6 or 7 college kids in between rounds of Friday Night Magic go outside and they're smoking cigarettes and they're swearing up a storm, and that's the environment. You know that it's just kind of like a little seedier, shadier environment, and it's cultivated. Now, again, I don't want to put too much on the shop owners because I know they can't control everyone, but I think having a couple of like house rules in terms of keeping things clean. Look, if you want it to be an inviting family environment, you kind of have to have some house rules about things like that. And so if the shop owner is never going to go to people and say, hey, man, just wanted to remind you that, we want to try to keep a clean family environment in this place so that everybody feels welcome to play and bring their kids or whatever is the case. You have to be willing to say that, I think, as a shop owner. And so I think when you do, you cultivate what is a family environment. I've played at some places that, I'll just be honest, I would not want to take my daughter to. She's not old enough to play now anyway, but once she is, I wouldn't want to take my kids because it's just, well, for one, nasty and gross, but also I just don't want them to be inundated with a lot of like crazy talk and some of the stuff that goes on in some of these shops. So for me, that's a big deal. Clean family environment. Number 3, is the store organized? I'll give you an example of being organized. This is one of the things I love so much about Meeple Madness, my local game store. When we play events there for card games or whatever, the match slips are given out, printed on pieces of paper. They're actually printed out and handed out by the table. You sit at a table that has a number on it. It's all extremely organized. Man, I have seen the polar opposite at some stores. You go and then you do an event, you're playing Magic or whatever, and they'll say, all right, Tommy is playing Kevin, and y'all go find a place to sit and play. And then Johnny is playing Christopher, and then you have like 3 guys named Christopher stand up and be like, well, what did you mean, Christopher Smith or which Christopher? Well, who are you talking about? Whoa, I don't know. Let me check. Now, by the time they're done sorting that out, 30 minutes has gone by. Why? Because they weren't organized with the match slips and everything. That may sound nitpicky, but man, when you actually experience a very organized one, and here's the other thing that does. It's so good. That keeps the schedules running, or the events running on a schedule the way they're designed to be. If it's not organized, the schedule tends to go crazy. And I was at a midnight release one time for a game at a local gaming store where we got started like 2 or 3 hours late. I mean, it was early morning by the time we got started because things were just getting backed up and it just wasn't organized. When you walk into a shop and you see, piles and piles of cards sitting on top of comic books and stuff like that, man, you know that it's not organized and you know that you won't be able to stick to a schedule for events. It's just a bad sign. When it's organized, it makes all the difference in the world. Number 2, offer tons of events for a variety of games. And I would also add to that, have a big selection of games. If this is a gaming store where games are being played, you should sell a variety of games. This is such a big deal because sometimes you can go to a shop and see, oh, okay, this is a Yu-Gi-Oh shop, or, oh, okay, they play Magic here. But if there's not a lot else that they support, then I'm not going to go there. And now I know that shop owners kind of have to cater this to the type of players that are in their store. So if they just happen to have a bunch of people that play Dragon Ball, then of course they're going to emphasize Dragon Ball. And they're going to offer probably more events for Dragon Ball than for other things because that's what their players want. So that makes sense. But I think as a game store owner, you have to get behind products and push them and kind of, inform customers why, hey, you should try this because this is a fun game. And so I know at Meeple Madness, what they do is they'll have demo versions of games that you can try out. And they'll actually have people who work at the store who will play with you and they'll show you the game. They'll kind of like teach you the game. I've actually had some people from there teach me a couple of, matter of fact, that's where I learned how to play Keyforge for the first time. And that's amazing, man. The fact that I can go there, learn a new game, see why it's awesome, and then they're going to offer like a weekly event for it. It's just fantastic. That makes a big difference. You get the impression when you walk in a store about them offering a variety of games. Otherwise, if it's just the Yu-Gi-Oh store and I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh, well, why do I want to come back there? That makes a big difference. Offer events and offer a variety of events and games. Number 1 thing, in my opinion, that makes for a good local gaming store, and I think you'll see this in the first example I gave at the beginning of this episode. Friendly, helpful workers. Friendly, helpful workers makes a huge difference. Man, I can't tell you guys, and maybe you've had the same experience, how many times I've walked into a game store and nobody even looks up or says anything. I'm like, okay. And then you walk around and it's something you're looking for, right? That's why you're in there. Or you want to know, hey, do y'all play this type of game? Or do you sell singles for this game? Or whatever. You have some question, you have some product you're looking for, but nobody says anything. Nobody looks up. Sometimes this has even happened to me where I walk in the store and I'm asking about Magic singles for sale. So I walk in and ask about it, and the people look up from what they're doing. It's almost like you're bothering them to ask them about this, whatever question you have. That is horrendous customer service. It's bad. I should never feel like I'm bothering you to come into your place of business and try to give you business. I'm trying to give you my money for something, and you're acting like I'm bothering you. It's just horrible. Friendly, helpful workers is so important. One time me and my friend played at a game that was, or at a gaming store that was a little bit further away from us, but they were having this Magic the Gathering event, and so we went to play, and they were given some promo cards. Basically, like if you came and played, you would get this promo card, and it's one that we wanted. So we were like, hey, let's check it out. We've never been at this store before, and so let's just try it out. So we went in there, and the shop owner, right before the event starts, he says, now I see a lot of y'all new faces out there, and I just want to know that y'all are not here just to win the promo cards and then leave and never come back, because that just wouldn't be right. And I'm like, it doesn't quite sit well with me. Okay, on the one hand, I kind of understand what he's saying, like, hey, support us. But I think the way he said it, I'm like, are you badgering? Like, are you trying to guilt us into constantly coming to and supporting your store? Like, look, that's not how this business works. Like, you give me a good experience and reason to come back. But if you're treating us like a jerk, and then we'll come back. If you're treating us like a jerk, we're not going to want to, though. I never came back to that store after that. But look, I mean, here's the deal. And gamers have several different places where they can choose to go and play their games. So if you treat the customer like crap, nobody's going to want to come back and play there again. Have friendly, helpful workers. Let me tell you this. Here's a good, I got a lot of bad examples, but here's a good example. My wife, sometimes will go into, and I'll give another shout out to Meeple Madness here. My wife will sometimes go into the store, and she's not as into the gaming world as I am, but if she's buying me a gift for like Father's Day or for Christmas or whatever, my birthday, she'll go in there and she'll know probably she's going to get me a gift card, or maybe she knows a game that I want that she's going in there to get me. And so she'll go in there. She said she has never been in there before without having an associate come up to her and say, hey, how can I help you? Thank you for coming in. How can I help you today? I thought, wow, that is amazing, because there's so many places I've been where they don't do that. And that's extremely helpful. It's intimidating, right? It's intimidating when you go to a place and maybe you don't know a lot about the products, and maybe you're buying for somebody else and they don't say anything to you. They don't even look up when you come in. That makes a huge difference, man. Friendly, helpful workers makes all the difference. So just real quick, the 5 things in my mind that make a local gaming store really good: knowledgeable workers, clean family environment, organized, tons of events and a variety of games, and number 1, friendly, helpful workers. Honestly, I think you can overcome so much if you have that. All right, do you guys agree or disagree with the stuff that I have? Do you have a local gaming store that you would like to shout out? I'll tell you what, I'm going to post this. Hit me up on Twitter at CheapCardGamer1 and let me know what your local gaming store is, why you love it, and did you agree with these things that I pointed out? Is it something else for you maybe that you're looking for in your gaming store? Tell me all of that. Hit me up on Twitter at CheapCardGamer1 and shout out your local gaming store. All right. Hey, man, local gamers got a game, right? Gamers got a game, and we got to have a place to play. So thank you to all the great local gaming store owners and managers that make that happen for us. We appreciate y'all so much.